before we get to Coach Reed Maltby in San Diego, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering what this dirt is all about here. It's 15 years ago the last time I had this dirt, and I shaved it off because Mrs. T said, that's enough. I've had enough time with that experiment. Get rid of it. Well, why do I have this dirt on my ugly mug once again? It's simple. I got an email 3-4 days before Christmas, someone challenging me and challenging my manhood and my so-called rumors about the Canadian Professional League, coast to coast, and calling me out and saying, Anthony, it's not true. You're just trying to stir up things. You're making up stories. This Canadian League will never kick off coast to coast. And it was signed from a loser, London, Ontario. Well, loser, London, Ontario, I responded back to you and I said, I will not shave until a press conference is called for the new Canadian Professional League coast to coast. Since my wife, Mrs. T, doesn't like this, neither do I, to be quite honest, because it's a little bit irritating. I'm positive that a press conference will come sooner than later in 2017 to announce cities across this great country of ours, Canada. I believe that wholeheartedly. I believe it 110% that it will happen. A lot of you asked me, Anthony, why hasn't an announcement happened? Why hasn't a press conference taken place? Look, these guys aren't stupid. The people at the CSA, Peter Montopoli, Victor Montagliani, and all the people behind the scenes that are doing a lot of the late work want to make sure that everything is in place, want to make sure they have everything covered, want to make sure that everything is in place before they call a press conference to announce the cities that are going to be in the first year of the CPL. They're not going to get there in front of cameras. They're not going to call a press conference and then a year later have to announce that one club, one team has unfortunately been, cut and gone by the wayside. They want to make sure, and they're making sure by getting the best owners all across this country, the best cities. They want to make sure everything is covered. They want to make sure the appetite is there. They want to make sure that youth clubs and academies will support these different clubs in different cities. They're doing their homework. That's why a press conference hasn't taken place. But it will. Believe me. Trust me. It will take place. A press conference will happen. Don't ask me when, an exact date. I don't have an exact date. Okay? But I'm privy to some information, a lot of information. I'm not going to lie anymore. I'm going to come clean and tell you exactly where I'm coming from. I know a lot of the things that are going on behind the scenes, and I'm privy to a lot of the information, and I can't get it out there out of respect for the whole process. Why would I? I'm not going to. But I can tell you a press conference will take place, and it'll take place hopefully sooner than later. But I only want that press conference to take place when everything is in place, when all, how do they say it? All the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. I think I got it right. And that's when I want the press conference. I don't want a press conference with the local guy down the street that owns a coffee shop, with all due respect to that, or the local body shop that is, bought a franchise, or, deciding to put his money down and then has cold feet and backs out at the last second. No, I want to make sure everything is in order. And that's why I believe we still don't have a press conference. Not because this is a pipe dream or we don't have any prospective owners. We do, and we have a bunch of them. Let me tell you, coast to coast, heavy hitters, people with deep pockets, people that care. And once this takes place and once this comes out, you will be shocked. You will be shocked of a couple cities that possibly could get franchises right out of the gate. I'm shocked of the amount of response. And I'm shocked at 2 or 3, 4, I would say 4 different cities that are very, very, very interested, that deeply, deeply want a CPL franchise. So once that press conference takes place, I will shave this and get rid of it. If no press conference takes place this year, if no CPL takes place this year, well, guess what? I'm going to have to live with this for a very, 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 very long time. But I believe it will happen, so I won't have to live with this for a very long time. Done. Next, just before we get to Coach Reed Maltby, I've got about 3 or 4 minutes here. I want to make this quick, and we're going to talk to Coach Reed Maltby about this. And this is what I want to get off my chest. 2016 was good for a red card in Totera's rants. We're going to start 2017 with one of Totera's rants, and it's a checklist for parents, a checklist for technical directors as well. So let's start for the parents, the checklist that I've decided to put together. A few things I want them to be aware of before they sign that check and they put their money down, because this is the time of year a lot of the parents and players get ready to decide where they're going to play their summer soccer. They're just in the middle of indoor season and getting ready to decide, where am I going to play? Who am I going to play for? Well, here's the checklist, parents, I want you to make sure that you go over with your son or daughter. Make sure that club is structurally sound. Make sure that club has a club that has the same goals and values you want for your son or daughter. Make sure that club doesn't have a board that continuously turns over year after year, that different board members come in one year and then the next year another set of board members, and they have different ideas. A lot of them, quite frankly, don't have a clue about the game. They're people from all different walks of life that might think they have a clue about the game, but they don't. Make sure, parents, you do your homework on also, what am I getting for that $1,000 in the summer season? Is this a traveling team? Is this a team that my son or daughter is going to be part of, that is a team that is really focused and motivated on development, on making sure that my son or daughter has every opportunity to play and get the proper instruction that they need? Ask questions, mums and dads out there. Ask the questions that a lot of people forget to ask before they sign that check and hand it over. Ask the questions to your club president if you get that opportunity to speak to he or she running that club. Ask them, say, how long has your technical director been here? Show us some examples of your technical director, of some of the players that have gone on to success in NCAA colleges and universities. Forget the provincial titles. Forget the national titles. Show me some of the players that have gone on to success in Europe, in MLS, in NCAA colleges and universities. Show me some of the players that have gone on to success, not only in soccer, but also in life after they've gotten that wonderful education in a Canadian or U.S. university. Show us some of that. Mums and dads, make sure that your son or daughters are training on the best possible facilities. Make sure that that club is not cutting corners. Make sure, mom and dad, you sit down and you meet with that coach with your son or daughter. I would say up until the age of 13. After 13, I consider them a young adult. Let them ask a lot of the questions they need to ask to that prospective coach if that coach is interested in that player. But you as parents, up until the age of 13, you need to ask that coach some real important questions. You need to ask that coach, is my son or daughter going to play? Are they going to be on the bench for the most part? If they're going to play, how much will they play? If they're going to be on the bench, how much do you believe playing time they will get? Ask the question to that coach, will you have a 3-to-1 ratio, 3 practices to 1 game? Ask that coach, will you have some off-field training sessions? Will you have some sessions in regards to nutrition, in regards to physical training? Ask that coach, will you have some possible video people making sure that as my son or daughter is with your team, that throughout the year someone will be taking some video to break down some of their flaws and that they can improve on? Ask these questions. Technical directors, you need to ask these questions too when you're interviewing possible coaches to come into your clubs. How many clubs have these coaches been to that now are applying to come to work at your club? Ask those questions. And why do they keep jumping like a gypsy from this club to this club to this club to this club? Is it all about that paycheck and getting a quick buck? If it is, don't waste your time with them. Technical directors, ask your club presidents. Don't be shy. Don't be a mouse. Don't hide. Ask the questions that need to be asked. Don't worry about your job security. Ask the questions to your club president. Are you allocating as much money as possible for everything we need for our players and our coaches? Make sure, technical directors, you're surrounding yourself with people that have the same philosophy, the same tactics that you believe in. Make sure that you're in constant communication with your coaches throughout the season. Make sure you're doing some surprise spot inspections of games and training sessions. Make sure you're on top of all the so-called politics that are involved with your coaches and some of the parents that might be deciding to have a coup and decide to take 5 or 6 in the middle of the season or at the end of the season to another club. Try to stop that before it happens by asking questions, getting involved. Don't show up once in a while. Answer those emails, technical directors, by your parents, by your coaches as quick as you can. Be ready, be there, answering the questions that need to be answered. Go to your club, go to your provincial body, go to your district, ask them what they're doing to help you as a coach, as a technical director. Those questions need to be asked.